Got another 95 exit save file. Hopefully, we'll be seeing 95 exits on the file B when we file check at the end. And we're off. So to start this run off, World 1 is basically the exact same as you would see in most other categories, since there are no feathers in World 1. So this is the point in time where I'd probably be explaining everything, but I already did that, so I can answer questions that I'm seeing. Yeah, Donut Ghost House. The first ghost house in Donut Plains. You have to use the cape to fly up to the top. So there's a bunch of strats in this category that we may or may not be seeing. I'm not sure how safe Calco is going to be during this run. There are a bunch of tricks that if you miss them, they will lose you a considerable amount of time. But there are also a few tricks that are pretty easy to go for, and if you miss, there are pretty easy backups. So I'll explain those as we come up to them. Does Calco not know how to fly? With Yoshi, he does. Got a 259 YI3. That is optimal. By running on the wooden platforms as they move forward, Mario can edge just a little bit closer to the goal, as if he wouldn't. Yes, Calco is the world record holder right now, by a few minutes. And I believe I may have missed that because I was looking at chat. I think we just saw a shell jump with a 276 finish. That saves one game second. Yeah, the run is not invalid. We got a shell jump in YI4. And even under Fireball. Wow, he's going all out. Let's see, 82 maybe? Oh, 81. He punched the fence at the end, which cost him just that little bit amount of time. Getting an 82, a 282 on the timer in that first room of Iggy's castle is pretty difficult. Yeah, anytime you hear me mentioning like random numbers, it's probably in reference to the game timer. That's kind of how we judge if we did a level decently or not. Like, the timer ended on a 241, so I say that this is a 41 Iggy. Overall, that was a low 311 whistle split, which is pretty good for World 1. Usually you see mid 311, maybe high 311. Getting a low 311 takes some effort. Seeing anything close to a 310, especially in a marathon, is pretty impressive. Alright, so Donut Plains 1. The very first level, we'll actually see a difference between 95 and 96 exit. You see that cape? You just burn it. Who needs that? But yeah, this level basically shows you what a lot of the run will be. Actual platforming, more reminiscent of Super Mario Bros. 3 rather than Super Mario World gameplay. Then you'll also see a lot of getting Yoshi, because Yoshi really helps with reaching platforms that you would normally just fly up to. So in that instance, we just ditched Yoshi as soon as we got him, just so we could get up to that platform. I believe Calco is taking the early special route in this run, which will finish Special World as quickly as possible, since Special World has some of the most difficult levels, and also because the overworld route is actually faster if you do it that way, as opposed to 96 exit, where there's a few other routes that are the fastest. Which exit is left out? That is Donut Ghost House, the exit that you use to unlock the top secret area. I'm keeping a tally of how many times I answer that one. So you notice in Donut Secret 1, if you watch 96 exit, or 11 exit really, you go into this blue pipe right here to grab a Koopa shell. Well, the Koopa's kind of out of reach without a cape, so going in there would just be slower. And in fact, even with a cape, going to grab that shell is only less than a second faster than just swimming through the level. See, taking it safe. The most optimal swimming pattern to go through there is pretty difficult, and it's really easy to accidentally get touched by a fish. And you kind of want to keep your fire so that you can damage boost through these boo rings, or just jump right through them, you know, if you want to be completely optimal. There's a boo that you just hit. That way, it's just easier to keep P-speed, and the boo rings are just very difficult to run right through without taking damage. It's really odd, in this category you actually do the normal exit of this ghost house first, and then finish Donut Secret 2 before going into Star World. That's just because the second time through World 2, we're going to be doing Donut Plains 2, and then Donut Ghost House, so it would waste time to come to Donut Secret 2 on the second time through. Did not go for the wall jump off the pipe there. That one's pretty fun to go for. I think you can save a game second or two by getting it. Alright. Finished out that level. Back to the ghost house. This level is actually easier as Small Mario. Just because of the way your hitbox is with the boo rings. Ooh. Just barely touched that ledge. These boo rings did. Oh, I see. It was on purpose because he wanted to get stair clip again. Double stair clip run, technically. But yeah, jumping through the boo rings as Small Mario is much easier because even as Big Mario, if you were to duck while going through those, your hitbox still is treated as if you're not ducking. It's just for those boo rings and other cluster sprites. But it's just easier to stay small. And then Big Boo is a joke. They put those two mini boos there to make it harder, but if you stare at them, they don't move, so as long as you're looking at them, the boss fight is super easy. Alright, and we are heading into Star World, which I believe will be clearing out all of the Star World levels. Except for one, I believe, if I remember my route correctly. But yeah, without a cape, you cannot do zips in Star World 1. So the optimal route through Star World 1 is to find the column with the most gaps in it and then go down that column. So you kind of actually have to memorize the layout of this stage. There are a few levels that are considerably more boring without Cape. To watch, that is. I'd say Star World 1 is one of them. Alright, and then the secret exit is right over here to the right. I will say though, Star World 1 is way less stressful without a cape. You don't have to worry about zipping. Why does he jump when he gets right to the end goal? I'd have to see that again. I don't think that would make a difference. There is a fun trick that you can do. Usually you do it with cape. If you get P-speed and jump as soon as you hit the goal, you can like start flying a little bit. I usually go for that. It's just cool to start flying into the goal. Yeah, so Star World 2 normal exit is the only exit you do this first time through Star World. So you have to feed Yoshi by doing it that way, which is a little odd. And then carrying Blue Yoshi through Star World 3 and 4 make the levels a little bit more different than in 96 exit. Without a cape, you have to actually knock Lactu out of his cloud, which also involves jumping off of Yoshi, because you can't throw a block while on Yoshi. Alright, and here we see the first level, where you just grab a blue shell, or blue Yoshi, or both, and just fly over the level. So this category doesn't have no flying. It has Yoshi flying. I don't think very many people have run 95 exit. Actually, it's not 95. There's a few exits you can't get without Yoshi. Whatever the maximum amount of exits without Yoshi. I know some people have done runs of them, but it's not very popular. Hey, the rules just say no cape. Doesn't say anything about no flying. Yeah, so the difference between 95 exit and 96 exit is that 95 exit, you are not allowed to use the cape. You're not allowed to collect any feathers. And because of that, there's one exit that you cannot do without either a cape or using Chuck-Eat glitches such as the cloud or the orb. And that exit is Donut Ghost House secret exit. The exit that unlocks top secret area. Yeah, 86 exit is the maximum amount of exits you can get as small Mario only without any power-ups or Yoshi. But that category does not do Switch Palaces, so you would at least add 4 to that number. So at least 90 if you were to just ban Yoshi, but you're allowed to have Fire Flower. Nice key grab there. And we are into Special World. So the first 2 levels here, actually the first 3, we'll be seeing some wings, hopefully. So by duplicating blocks, which you can do by throwing an item into a block in a specific position, you can overlap blocks with dragon coins, and just the way that dragon coins work, they transmute the block that is on top of them, and if they are in the right position, then that block turns into a block that has wings in it. And then you just hit that block and collect the wings, and the level's done. Or you can have a block that normally has a P-switch in it, or a P-balloon, and you could duplicate that block to the side, and it will also spawn wings, but if you hit the P-balloon first, then it's ruined, and you have to do the level normally. So Tubular, that level that took you ages to do, even with the cape, Calco just grinds it out there without the cape even. Alright, and then this level, this level has wings already built into it, so no glitches here. But you do get to see a bunch of jumping. This level is actually really fun to do. It looks really hard, and it takes a bit of practice to get right, but it is just so satisfying when you're able to pull it off. Thank you, Fiesel, for the 95 exit command. Every time somebody asks the question about what exit you can't get, somebody has to use the command, so that way I don't have to keep repeating myself. So this level is awesome. It's not awesome. It's actually not a very fun level because of these cheeps at the end. Luckily, we don't have to go for Awesome Flower, which was that fire flower you just saw on the ground. So you don't even have to try to go into the fish and collect that. You're just able to fly over. What are the names in Japanese? I believe the names in Special World are something along the lines of Championship Level 1, Championship Level 2, something like that. I know that's not exactly right, but I do know that every 2 levels actually have the same name. Like, they're in couples. That's why you get a save box every 2 levels, is because they're kind of treated as one mega level, I guess. I don't know why they did it that way, but that's why you have the save box every other level. But yeah, without any cape either, you can't even do a groovy boss kill. So it's a little bit slower, but you also don't have to worry about doing a frame perfect trick. So groovy, it turns groovy into a really easy level. Now Mondo, on the other hand, this level without a cape is just awful. The optimal strat in this level is just ridiculously hard to pull off just because of how many precise jumps and how stupid the fish are. But you are able to get P-speed if you're fast enough. You're able to get P-speed off of that one platform before the water comes up. So that was actually one of the better Mondos I've ever seen. But yeah, Mondo is one of the levels that can, if it goes wrong, it will go very wrong. So luckily, Calco is able to handle that one pretty easily. We'll see about Outrageous. Outrageous is another level that if it goes wrong, it can go very wrong. It is probably one of the most trickiest levels in this run. A bunch of very precise jumps off of these 1-tile-wide bullet shooters. And also taking some damage boosts and using Yoshi to jump through the level. And then this Hammer Brother sucks. Yep. The Hammer Brother can sometimes eat your jump, and sometimes you can even, like, bop the Hammer Brother even though you're nowhere near him. But the good thing is he didn't die. Getting a 245 while messing up that one jump is actually pretty good. Because usually, once you're small and you're in that level not going fast, everything is out to kill you, and one wrong jump means you're dead and have to start the level over again. So yeah, the optimal route is actually to stay small for Funky. Mainly because the one section where calco threw a shell through the wall of turn blocks. It's just easier to go through that section if you're small. And here we are. Calco is now super player, officially. You heard it here, folks. Yeah, the world record in this category is pretty optimized. I don't think it's as optimized as 96 Exit yet. Then again, I haven't really watched the 95 Exit world record in a while. That and I don't think very many new strats have come up recently, like in 96. But I do know that everybody thought that the old 95 Exit world record held by Woz, which was like a 128.59, was optimized because it stood for a very long time, and then calco just came out of nowhere and destroyed it. Calco came and just destroyed all the no cape categories, really. No cape, no Star World was first, and then 95 Exit, and then they took low percent small Mario only a couple times. Alright, first Switch Palace. See if we can get a yump here. Yump! Alright, so that's a yump. Jumping off of Switch Palace switch. Not jumping off a P-switch. P-switch jumps are P-switch jumps. Switch Palace jumps are yumps. Need to set that straight. Alright, so we're 1 for 1 on yumps. Yumps are very important to the run. It's a 1 frame trick. You have 1 frame to jump off of the switch before the message comes up and blocks you. Alright, with Special World out of the way, we come back and finish up everything we missed in World 2. We re-get Yoshi, but this time we won't be ditching him. We don't need to go get that key. Instead, we're going to be keeping him for Donut Plains 3 and 4, and for Vanilla Dome 1. But first we have to do Donut Plains 2, which is an auto-scroller. Is there 100% runs for this game? That's a difficult question because this game doesn't have a percentage counter. So you could think of 96 Exit, which is basically this category but with cape, as being the quote-unquote 100%, as it beats all the levels and gets the star 96 on the title screen. But there are other categories that people play, named Lunar Dragon, where you collect dragon coins and all the moons, which those respawn after you reset the game, so they don't really count as collectibles, but they're there if you want to collect them. Be careful with that shell. If you spit that shell to the left, it can come back and bounce at you. Is it possible for him to beat his own record in this run? I'm not sure how far ahead or behind he is right now. I'd say it's very unlikely, but it's possible. Oh, no yump. No yump on the second one. Only 50% now. It's Yoshi's fault. Always blame Yoshi. is there a genocide run where you have to kill every enemy? Not that I know of. There is a pacifist category that's been run by the one and only Author Blues. But apparently that category is terrible. He tells everybody it's the worst thing ever. Are auto-scrolling sections liked by speedrunners or disliked? I think that varies from person to person. And it also depends on the game, too. Like, Super Mario World has a lot of downtime already. In, like, the level fanfares, you have the overworld. So, you already have a bunch of downtime, and your auto-scroller is just more of that. But I think in a game that has more constant gameplay and less cutscenes, an auto-scroller might be more appreciated as a break time for the runner. That's just my opinion. How does Yoshi slide uphill? So for some reason, you hold down and right, you will slide to the right. Even if right is up, you'll slide up. So if you have a really hilly terrain, you can just hold down and right, and Yoshi just, like, rides up and down hills. It's pretty funny looking. Alright, so the intended exit, or the intended way to beat this level is to go through the doors and find the vine. Use a vine to climb to the top. Or, just use your Boo Buddy to bounce up to the top. Yeah, Trap is correct. There are games with auto-scrollers that can be optimized due to lag. Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of them. So normally, in a small-only category, you wouldn't have Yoshi in this level, and Donut Plains 3 is actually pretty difficult to pull off. But with Yoshi, we're lucky that there's a blue shell there, so we can just fly through this level. In fact, since we beat Special World, all the Koopas change colors. And what that means is there's more blue Koopas in the levels. That's another benefit to beating Special World early, is that there are more blue Koopas in levels. And with blue Koopas, you can fly over levels. So you see there, blue Koopa right there, and fly over Donut Plains 4. And I believe we collect Fire Flower here for Morton. There's a handy-dandy roulette block. Collect the Fire Flower. That'll let us kill the bosses much quicker. And on the castle too. So this is a room you don't see in 96 exit, right here. Normally you fly up and like skip this room with a bonus room. But that room does exist. In fact, it does exist. And then this vertical room is much slower because you can't use the cape to fly up. So I believe you miss out on at least one cycle, maybe two, because of not having the cape. I think it's the very first cycle that you miss, just because you don't have the cape at the very beginning, so you have to wait for the platform. Here we go, 2 fireballs and a stomp, and Morton is dead. Yes, the roulette blocks do have capes, but if you're running at full speed and you bump the roulette block and then like run right into it from the side, it will always give you a fire flower. The only time you are are in danger of collecting the feather is if you mess up grabbing the item somehow, or if you're going slow, which is not what we do in a speed run. Alright, so in Vanilla Dome 1, I think we're gonna do the secret exit first, if I remember how the route goes. Yes, okay. So we're actually gonna do... I keep saying we as if I'm playing too. Calco's gonna do the secret exit here and unlock the star warp into Star World from Vanilla Secret 1, and then come back to do the lower route, Vanilla Dome. This is just so that when we go into Star World the second time, we can come out and go right back to Vanilla Dome instead of having to come out of the first star in Donut Plains. And it saves just a little bit of overworld time. Alright, and now back to Vanilla Dome 1. We'll be seeing some more glitched wings. Again, by duping blocks, by throwing an item specifically at a block, we can cover up a dragon coin with a block, and then collecting the dragon coin will modify the block that is overlapping it into a different block, and that block will hold... I believe this one holds a key, so you have to dupe it to the side even to spawn Yoshi wings, and then you just collect the wings and the level is over. So those were 61 wings, which they're pretty decent, especially without a cape. It's respectable. I believe you can get like 80 or 81 on the timer when you collect the wings with the optimal strat. And of course, without a cape, the Yoshi clip in this level is possible. You can clip through the wall, but you just fall straight down because there's no water in the walls. So you just fall straight down. You can't use the cape to glide underneath the water section. So there's no use in even trying the clip. You can try all you want. Go for it. Be my guest, but you'll just fall in the pit and die. Yump! 2 for 3. How did someone find wings like that? I don't remember like how the very first wings glitch was found, but the block that holds keys, Yoshi wings, P-balloons, and green Koopa shells are all actually the same block. They're the same block ID. It just depends on their position in the level that determines what is in the block. So by moving the block, by duplicating it and moving it to the side by one tile, you actually change what's inside of the block. Alright, here's Yump. The definition of Yump is jumping off of the Switch Palace switch. You have 1 frame to do that. The reason why it's called Yump is because it was coined by a Swedish person, and that's how they pronounce the word jump. So they were just saying jump, but it was more like Yump, and it caught on because it was pretty cool. Alright, jump through the boomerang. Easy peasy, small. And in fact, with messing up the donut secret house, that actually messed up the boomerangs. The boomerangs will retain their position when they despawn. So, say a boomerang rotates 90 degrees, and the next one will spawn already rotated 90 degrees. So if you accidentally waste too much time with one of them on screen, your next one is going to be rotated in a position you're not used to. So the fact that Calco is able to jump through 2 boo rings after messing up Donut's secret house that has boo rings in it, that's pretty impressive. Alright, and now in Vanilla Dome 3, there is a cool shell jump, wall shell jump for you Mario Maker people that you can do to skip a pretty decent chunk of this level. And it involves carrying the Buzzy Beetle shell from the beginning. Let's see if he gets it. Yep, there it is. That was pretty nice. Hop in the bonus game, and this takes you to the midway point, and this skips a raft. 2 rafts, I believe. That skips 2 rafts. 2 skull rafts. And then using this blue shell, we can skip a 3rd raft. And a 4th raft, even. There's another raft at the end that you don't even see. Yeah, that skip, keeping the Buzzy Beetle is probably harder than the jump itself. The Buzzy Beetle wakes up after a few seconds. And usually a Buzzy Beetle will shake before it's about to wake up. But once you beat Special World, Buzzy Beetles don't shake anymore before they're about to wake up. So you kind of just have to know how long until the Buzzy Beetle will wake up. And just the way the level's laid out, like, you have a very, very small window of time to actually throw the Buzzy Beetle to make the shell get past the lava, but also not get hit by him from his waking up. So carrying the Buzzy Beetle shell to the trick is actually probably more difficult than the jump itself. Yes, okay. So slurping is the official term for spitting out a shell and re-grabbing it. Usually done in midair, so Yoshi doesn't swallow the shell. If a shell is held in Yoshi's mouth for long enough, he'll actually swallow it. But by spitting it out and re-grabbing it, that resets the timer. Alright, Magic Koopa was nice here. There is a safe strat to just kill Magic Koopa right away. It loses a few seconds, and it's a lot safer. But by killing Magic Koopa at the start, she tends to spawn like right as you're about to go in the door, and so usually runners will just opt to not kill Magic Koopa. Let's see if he gets the P-Speed skip. Alright, easy. So that was a very convoluted P-Speed setup to jump over that gap. Usually, when you have a cape, you can just glide over that gap and you'll make it. Without a cape, you have to get P-Speed, and there's not very much room in this level to get P-Speed, so you have to time your running back and forth on small platforms while the ceiling is moving up and down. So that trick is actually pretty difficult. I'm glad that he was able to pull it off. There we go, Lemmy is dead. We'll be moving on to Cheese Bridge area. See, Cheese Bridge area, normally you fly through the stage, but now we'll be seeing some saw bouncing instead. Hopefully we'll be seeing some saw bouncing, and no pit falling. Oh, I take blame for that. That was my fault. Alright, so the saws are very touchy, and it's hard to take damage. You can't actually take damage on them while you're on Yoshi, but they are very difficult to actually jump on, just because of how they move. So, without a Yoshi, we'll have to go get one from Star World. I'm sorry, it was my fault. I opened my big mouth. Yeah, dying there is actually a pretty big time loss because if you do the level, if you like say, screw it, I'll just do this level without Yoshi, you either have to spin jump on the saws, which if you spin jump on saws, then you are able to take damage. And you can't even get the wings from the wings block here in the middle of the level. And then you also have to do Cookie Mountain without Yoshi. And then there's no good Yoshis to get anywhere nearby. You have to go all the way to Star World 2, or... I'm trying to think of another level. I think that's like the only good one. I think we used to go back to Donut Plains 4 back before we did the route that unlocked Star World from Vanilla Dome. There's also one in Vanilla Dome 3, but you have to actually go all the way to the midway of Vanilla Dome 3, and that's a long level. Alright, so we unlocked Ludwig's Castle, but we'll be coming back to that level later on our second pass through Vanilla Dome. Meanwhile, back to Cheese Bridge. So, people earlier were wondering how to unlock the Soda Lake exit without a cape, and here's how you would do that. First, you use Yoshi to jump on some saws, or if you're slow, then you can just ride the platform. But all you have to do is take Yoshi here. You have to jump on these saws because you have to bring Yoshi to the end, and then just whoop, jump under the goal. Screw the moon, don't need those lives. And here we are in Soda Lake. We're grabbing this fire flower, I believe. Yep. This one is to kill Ludwig and Roy with, hopefully. If everything goes right. Soda Lake is a pretty tricky level to play without losing any time. If you just hold right and swim, the Torpedo Teds are always going to swim to the right, which means they're always going to get in your way. You'll see he delayed there a little bit, and that's why those guys went to the left. It just makes going into the pipe a little bit easier. It's also really easy to bonk on stuff. Especially if you try swimming under the level. You can actually swim under everything in that level. Why does Torpedo Gunner wear Mickey Mouse clothes? You know, we never actually figured that out. Alright, and then this is where we would actually do the other exit to Star World 2. And this is just so that we can get another Blue Yoshi to take with us through the tabletop section of Dinosaur Land. And there we are. Right to the level that we need to play next. That's why you unlock that star earlier. Because if you didn't do that, then you'd have to go all the way to Donut Plains Star. And then you'd come out at Star World 1. You'd have to walk to Star World 1. And then all through Donut Plains again. Yeah, Calco will be keeping this Yoshi for a while. I believe he meets his fate in Forest of Illusion 2. So Vanilla's Secret 1 is, or this is Vanilla's Secret 2. This is actually a level that's pretty interesting in No Cape No Star World because you don't have Blue Yoshi or any blue shells. So it's actually pure platforming, but in 95, with the Blue Yoshi, you can just fly over it. Is it possible to do the special stages again? And if so, what happens afterwards? Yes, you can do them again, and nothing happens when you beat them again. He despawned one of the flying Koopas. Do you mean in the vertical level, Vanilla Secret 1? I don't know if he actually despawned one of them or not, but I do know that there does exist a gap in between the Koopas already that you can jump through. And with a well-timed jump, you can actually make it through there without getting hit. Why are there Luigi heads on the Koopas? Alright, so when you beat Special World, a few things happen. The overworld changes color, and a lot of the enemies change their graphics, and Koopas are one of them. Bullet bills also change into Pidget bills, and jumpin' piranha plants turn into jumpin' pumpkin plants. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that. I just saw it, but I forgot to mention it. So, in the Japanese version of this game, you can actually eat dolphins. You can't in the North American release, for whatever reason. I guess I should mention that this run is played on the Japanese version because it saves 20 seconds over the North American version. The Switch Palaces, for whatever reason, their text message at the end is dismissed about 4 seconds faster in the Japanese release. And then each of the save boxes that appear after beating Castle, Fortress, Ghost House, those boxes are smaller and they get dismissed quicker. Butter Bridge 1. Everyone's favorite level. Yeah, I'd say the theory that dolphins serve as platforms and you don't really want to delete platforms, because if you want to get up to the midway point, say, in that level, and you eat all the dolphins around the midway point, then you can't get to the midway point anymore. That's probably my guess. But then again, in the Game Boy Advance release of this game, Super Mario Advance 2, you can eat dolphins in all versions. So, who knows? And then I guess while we talk about release versions, I can talk about the PAL version. PAL version of this game is completely different, and the physics are all weird, and the game runs super slowly. So, usually Usually it's disregarded, and it's just anytime somebody plays on PAL, everybody goes, "Why are you playing on PAL?" It does run at 50 hertz instead of 60, and they tried to compensate for that by making Mario run faster. But other things, like enemies don't move faster, they run in slow motion. And anything not level related, like the overworld, cutscenes, special effects, and stuff like that, all run at a slower rate. And that's what causes the game to be way slower on that version. Showing out the No Cape, No Star World strat for this level. There is a shell right at the beginning, and you can use that to run through the level, or fly through the level. But the strat that Calco just did in this level is what's used in No Cape, No Star World, which is a little bit more difficult, especially because if you miss that shell off the platform, then you have to try to respawn it without getting hit by flying Koopas. Here we are back in Ludwig's castle. Ooh, missed the quick cycle on the bony beetle because he hit one of the blocks in the ceiling. That first room is very hard to do optimally, just because those bony beetles, you cannot spin jump on them while they are in their spiky mode. They're one of the few things that you can't spin jump in this game. So you have to kind of time it so that they release their spikes right as you're about to jump on them. And just like any other Koopa Kid, 2 fireballs and a stop. And rip. And then we comically get to see this castle fly off and give the hill a boo-boo. And then the hill gets a bandage. Alright, on to Forest of Illusion. Forest of Illusion 1 is a level that in No Cape, No Star World is a pain, because you don't have any way of flying over the level, and the Hammer Brother at the end can be mean. But with Blue Yoshi, you can just fly over it. Or under it. Or both. Or you can get the key exit first, apparently. I forgot that this is 95 exit, so you actually do a different route. That's right, because you had to do Forest Secret Area. Okay. I know things about this game. So you see, that jump looked really awkward, and that's just because you can jump over that Big Boo, but I think it's like 1 frame to spin jump on top of him. And then it's really slow to go underneath him because he's in the way. So by facing the left and like jumping and delaying, we can get... Calco can move the Big Boo to the left and then go under him, just as he moves out of the way. It's more of a safety strat. Yeah, Forest of Illusion 1 lags a lot. Forest of Illusion 2 lags also, especially if you bring Yoshi into that level. Wigglers and urchins are big lag makers. Alright, so we're getting the secret exit in this level. Do not fall in the 1 block hole. That's a bad thing to do. So yeah, this is the reason why we do the secret exit in Forest Illusion 1, is because this level, you use Blue Yoshi to fly over, and if you don't, then you either have to ride the platform the entire way, which loses like 40 seconds, or you can try like bouncing on Koopas to the end, which is really, really difficult. And it's funny because that blue Yoshi is the same Yoshi that Calco grabbed in Star World 2. So if at any point between Star World 2 and Forest Secret Area, if you lose Yoshi, then you're screwed. You have to either jump on a bunch of Koopas or ride that platform. Because even the Yoshi in Forest of Illusion 1 is green, and he won't help you fly through that level. And then in the Forest Fortress, the one of many Forest Fortresses, without blue blocks, you have to keep that in mind. Don't forget, there are no blue blocks there. Ooh, nice. Okay. So that part of that room, that one jump to that red triangle is really tricky because you can't see what you're doing. Your target is that red triangle that lets you run up the wall, but you can't see the red triangle when you jump from the top ledge. And sometimes you don't know whether you're going to jump on a saw, whether you're going to jump too far into the wall, you're going to jump on the triangle, you're going to jump in between the saws and run into them. It's just a really tricky jump. So running right into the triangle was like perfect. That was pretty okay hand. We visit Forest Illusion 4 again. We'll be taking the normal exit. You can get goalpost swamp? No. Okay. I think you only got that if you used Red Yoshi here in the old route. It was really easy to get the goalpost into Yoshi's mouth on accident. But with Blue Yoshi, you can just grab the first Koopa and you don't have that problem. Alright, Bible Thump 7. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll be seeing a clip here. There we go. So this level does have water in the walls, unlike Vanilla Dome 2. So by tossing Yoshi into the corner and jumping onto Yoshi's back as he's right next to the corner, you can get inside the corner, and then dismounting at the right time, you can actually get pushed all the way through the wall and fall underneath the ground, and you're able to swim out of bounds, and that's way faster than swimming through the level. And we'll be back. We'll be back in that level to sacrifice another Yoshi, don't you worry. Alright, let's see if we can get the wall jump. Ooh, got the wall clip. No wall jump, though. The optimal strat in this level is to get a wall jump off of that pipe. That way you maintain P-speed. Because if you don't make it over that pipe, you have to use the springboard to go over, and that just kills your P-speed. And then Goomba jump. There it is. And normal exit. And this takes us back to the Forest Ghost House. So I didn't mention it last time because I think I was mentioning something else. Forest Ghost House. With a cape, you usually just fly up right here. You fly up and over the ceiling, over that big wall, and then you can get to the end. Without a cape, you actually have to go into this room. And it's not a fun room, let me tell you that. This goo cloud that you see is one of the most frustrating things in this game. You can see as that ending part, you have to jump through the boo cloud to get into the door optimally. Those boos, like, materialize out of thin air and will hit you whenever they feel like it. And it's not fun. Not fun. But luckily, he didn't get hit either time, so that's good. Alright, so before we go back into Forest Illusion 2, grab another Yoshi to do the clip again. We have to get the secret exit in that level. So we get extra fire. Okay, say screw the extra fire. And we're just gonna finish the level. So getting an extra fire flower there would let Calco do a deboost strat in Roy's castle, which saves a little bit of time. It mainly just saves the time of being able to fire kill Roy, because now he'll still do the deboost strat, but he just won't have an extra fire flower at the end. And so he'll be small going into Roy's room. Oh, nice. Clean clip. So if you have the right subpixels, sometimes you can just get stuck in the corner and just get pushed right through without even having to do an extra dismount. Which is really nice because the dismount has some RNG luck-based elements to it. And sometimes you can get kicked out of the wall and there's nothing you can do about it. But with a clean clip, you're all the way through the wall and you don't have to worry about it. Alright, last Switch Palace. Everybody has to hope really hard that we get a final jump. Yum! 3 for 4. I'd say that was pretty good. It's not the 4 out of 4, but a 3 out of 4 is pretty good. And then back in Forest 3, there's the wall jump. There it is. Beautiful. See, in 95 exit, you get 2 chances at that. You get to redeem yourself if you miss it the first time. No Cape, no Star World, you only do this level once. And then you feel bad when you miss it. Goomba jump. The bubbles in this level are kind of a pain. They aren't RNG. Well, there are some later in the level that are RNG, but most of them are all consistent in where they'll spawn. But when they spawn, just depends on how the sprites are ordered in memory. Sometimes there's too many sprites on the screen, and some of them won't spawn. Most of the time, the same ones will spawn or not. There's always that one time where, like, bubble spawns in the spot you don't normally see it, and it just throws you off. And here we'll be seeing the deboost strat, even with some extra P-speed. So unfortunately, you can't skip the snake entirely. You have to do the snake at the first part. But you can skip the spike room by doing the damage boost. And then here, normally Calco would have another fire flower to finish off Roy, but it having the extra fire flower only saves like 6 seconds, I think. And a lot of that time would be wasted going back and trying to waiting for the fire flower to cycle around in the roulette block. So it's kind of just not worth it. Just keep going anyway. So what was that? Like a 104 something Roy split, which is really good for 95 no cape. Oh, we got P-Speed back. Nice. I was a little worried there. Losing P-Speed there is not pretty because there's that giant gap after the diagonal pipe, but he's able to get it back somehow. Alright, and without a power-up, I guess we'll be seeing the damageless Boo Laser Hop here. Or maybe he'll get the mushroom in the second room. I'm not sure which strat Calco is going to do here. There is a door on a high ledge in the second room here. And there's a Boo Laser that is right next to the ledge. And so Mario can spin jump off it. Normally you would deboost. Ooh, nice suicide door. Right before the thing. Right before the hole. Alright, so he's gonna do the damage boost strat. Right there. Boop. You can do that jump without taking any damage. You have to do a screen scroll so that the Boo Laser spawns a little bit later. But the damage boost strat is much safer, I will agree. Chocolate Island 2 is a very interesting level. I'll explain what goes on in this level the next time we're here. But meanwhile, we'll just get the secret exit, which means just play through the level as fast as possible. That is a weird route through that level, through that room. I was a little spooked. I have trust in Calco, though. I know that he knows what he's doing. Alright, Chocolate Secret. This is one of the levels, I know we were talking about levels that are less fun. I'd say that Chocolate Secret is a level that's less fun without cape. Just because of how many ways you can get screwed over. I mean, it's not a good level with cape either. But without cape, it's not any better. So without cape, you have to actually spin jump through this level. Or normal jump between the spinies. Like, if you want to live on the edge, you jump in between the spinies instead of spin jumping on them. And then here you, by jumping, got both of the jumps. Normally, like, you can easily hit those chucks by jumping off of those slopes, but he got past both of them. And then did not get any jumps eaten by the yellow platforms at the end. Those yellow platforms over the lava are very, very good at eating your jump, and then you just fall in the lava. The main reason Chocolate Secret is a terrible level. But he got through it, no problem, of course. So back into Chocolate Island 2. So the exit you get in this level depends on your game timer. If you get faster than 250 or faster on the game timer when you go in this second pipe, then you get the secret exit. And if you get a 250, slower than a 250, so 249 or lower, then you get the normal exit. The other rooms, like whether he got this room that has the Rexes or the other room that had the Paratroopas depends on how many coins he got in the first room. And then the final room, there's a room that has Rexes, and then there's also a room that has a bunch of switch blocks. What room you get depends on how many dragon coins you collected throughout the level. So he only has 2 dragon coins, so you got the room with the Rexes. I believe if you have 4 dragon coins, you'll get the one with the coins and the Switch Palace blocks. It's a very confusing level. Very interesting that they just made a level that is like that. Interesting design choice, I'll just say. Looks like Calco's opting to fly under this level. And over, okay. So not over the first pipe, but over the second one. So there's pipes just like that pipe. They're kind of there to prevent you from flying over the level, but you can also just fly over them. So they kind of are pointless. I mean, there is a bonus game in that level in particular. There are some levels that there are pipes specifically to prevent you from flying. But you can just fly over them. As long as the screen scrolls up to the top, I will say. And of course, the secret exit in this level is past the normal exit. And with a blue shell, that's easy. So you can fly over that goal, or you can fly under the goal, whichever you prefer. Fun fact, the Japanese version of this game has 3 arrow signs, has 1 arrow sign that kind of gives you the hint that there's something past the goal. The North American release has 3 arrow signs. Take of that what you will. So Choco Fort. This level is actually, I'd say that this level is easier without a cape. Or the first room, at least, is easier without a cape. Especially if you're doing the damage boost strat. There is the fire at the end, the fireball, that he had to slow down for because he got a bad pattern. That is true RNG, where that fireball spawns. But otherwise, this was perfectly executed. Choco Fort. Beautiful. Reminds you of pencils. They are pencils. I'm pretty sure like half of the community calls them pencils. I call them pencils. And then you get hit by the pencils, and that means you got stamped by a pencil. Alright, so Chocolate Island 4 is a very weird level to do without a cape. You use a lot of slope sliding to give you your maximum speed rather than getting P-speed. If you slide down and then jump without touching left or right on the D-pad, you actually move pretty fast. I don't remember if it's faster or slower than P-speed. I believe it's faster. Just barely faster because of the non-oscillating speed. But you want to slide down as many slopes in that level as possible. And you see there, similar to what was done in Tubular, if you were around for that, by jumping. So if Mario and Yoshi can't make a jump completely, Mario can ditch Yoshi, and Yoshi has, when Mario jumps off Yoshi, Yoshi gets a lot of horizontal movement somehow. And so Yoshi is able to move farther, and then from jumping off of Yoshi, Mario is able to move higher. So making that jump over that chuck was only possible by ditching Yoshi and re-grabbing him. It looks like a weird strat. It looks like, oh, he's about to die. Let's save it. And then, oh, it was just lucky that he landed on the platform. But that's an actual strat to ditch Yoshi at the last second. And that Wendy's castle was pretty good. There is a strat that you can do to jump under one of the saws and keep P-speed throughout like the entire second half of the first room. But I don't know how many frames it is. It's either 1 or 2 frames to jump underneath the saw without getting hit. So he took it safe there. And somehow that castle just got wiped away. Don't question Nintendo logic. Alright, and here is the ghost ship. We'll be seeing a despawn of a boo ring here, hopefully. There are 2 boo rings at the end of this room. And hopefully with the right setup that we're going to do here by running Yoshi into the boos, delays us just enough that the boo cloud is going to be on screen at the same time that the boo ring tries to spawn, and it says, oh, there's too many sprites here. I can't spawn right now. Looks like the setup was good, and there it is. So there's supposed to be a boo ring above those spikes there. Oh, wow. I did not know that you can get through there without getting hit when you're on Yoshi. That's new to me. That boo ring swag. Alright, I do know that the FFZ emote exists in this channel, so everybody needs to spam it. So safe. Oh, even the Sour Yoshi. Dude, nice. And of course, everybody knows, since I'm commentating, they're gonna be expecting it. Orb. Alright, now into Valley Bowser. That was too much fun. I'm sorry. Oop, missed that jump there. That's a really tight jump. You're like gaining P-speed. Mario's speed is changing, like right as you need to jump right at the end of that platform. So these moles, you have to be very careful of the Mega Moles. Their hitbox is one of the worst in the game, and if you run into them with Yoshi, you die. Like, you don't get hit off Yoshi and Yoshi goes running away. That's not what happens. Mega Moles just kill you immediately. So you have to stick out Yoshi's tongue pretty early to make sure that they don't actually touch Mario. Because touching Mario is bad. And of course, we got Yoshi in Chocolate Island 2. Yeah, that's right. Kept him all the way here so that we can get the wings and not have to go through the sandbar for the normal exit. We still have to go through the sandbar for secret exit. But for the normal exit, we can just get the wings. Okay, so the secret exit in this stage is actually a little interesting without cape. Normally you'd go to the left and try to get what we call sexy slide, which is where you fly and just fly through a 1-block gap. But without the cape, you can't do that. So you actually have to do the developer-intended route through this level, which is to use the coin snake to get up to the top and duck through the gap. There is a way, if you're small, you can do it similar to Donut Ghost House, where you spin jump off of Boo Buddies to get up there. But the screen doesn't scroll up and you can't see what you're doing, and you're basically like jumping into the gap blind. So that's a simple reason why that's not in a marathon run. I don't know if that damage was intentional or not. It may have been, since Larry's castle is easier small than big. So we'll see if Calco goes for the fast Larry's castle strat. I feel like there would have been a better place to take damage than there, but maybe it's just easier there. So Vob 3 is pretty simple. You just fly over it. It is faster to run along the numbered timed lifts, just like the brown rotating platforms in Yoshi's Island 3. But if you accidentally run off the edge without jumping, then you lose your P-speed. So it's probably just easier to not bother with any of that, just so that you don't lose your P-speed. Now, Vob 4 has a key that's blocked entirely within blocks. Blocked by blocks, what do you know? So you have to use Yoshi to get to the end. And if you lose Yoshi, there is another Yoshi in the level. If you lose Yoshi after the midway point, then God, I don't even know what to do then. If you've already gotten the normal exit, you have to like beat the level and try it again. Start select and get Yoshi from somewhere else. And you'll see here, Calco floats down that chute there instead of spitting out the shell, which would make Yoshi fall faster. If you fall straight down that tunnel, sometimes even if you're pressed up against the wall and holding right, sometimes you just fall in that lava. Like, I don't understand why it happens, but sometimes you just fall in the lava, and it's the worst thing ever. So the safe strat is just to float down, that way you don't have any chance of missing that ledge. And I see that we got the midway point in Vob 4, so we'll be seeing. I don't know what strat Calco's gonna do in the second room. I see he's not doing the fast strat for the first room, which I don't blame him. That's pretty tough strat, and if you mess it up, you're dead. You just get this single D boost. Some screen scroll manipulation, and then Magic Koopa spawn manipulation. Ooh, that corner jump was weird. Without a cape, you cannot spin those blocks. So you either have to wait for Magic Koopa to hit them for you, or use a shell to hit them, or you can even wall clip on them while you're spin jumping and just happen to break them. That option is not a good option. It's you're probably not gonna get the wall clip to break the block, but it's possible. So you see he used a mix of Magic Koopa's help along with the shell that she spawns to get through those blocks. I notice everybody in the chat, don't worry. The world record is a 127 something. I don't know the number exactly. And we're gonna be about like a minute or two, maybe 2 or 3 off of that. I think the death in Cheesebridge area was the biggest mistake. That cost a bunch of time, going all the way back to Star World 2 for Yoshi. All right, get ready for Sandbar Clip. See if he goes for it. And it's free. No Cape Sandbar is free. So clipping into the sandbar there saves about 12 seconds, 13 seconds. It's a pretty decent chunk of time. And that is a 2-frame trick to spin jump right as you're about to get squished and you get pushed into the ground. Oh, and even the orange jump. All right, so Mario's jump height is based on his oscillating speed, and I could go into detail about what that is, but basically Mario's jump height isn't consistent, so sometimes he jumps higher, and that jump up to the ceiling you can only get sometimes. And you just happen to get it that time, and it saves like 3 seconds to get that jump. Because if you don't get that jump, then you have to wait for the sandbar to come up and help you up to the platform. Cycle skip? Cycle skip's easy. So without a cape, that one cycle skip is about as good as you can get in this level. Oh my gosh, okay. Those Reznor fireballs were a little scary. Just a little. We're good, and all we have left is one and only Bowser. And I know that calco knows the optimal no-cape Bowser fight, so hopefully we can see that here. Yeah, we're looking at about a 128 something. Which is insane because the world record by Woz that stood for like years was a 128.59. Yep. So without a cape, you can't fly up on top of Bowser and hit him as soon as he throws Mecha Koopas. So with very precise timings, you can jump and throw Mecha Koopas as soon as Bowser appears. Now, normally these optimizations come from low percent or small Mario only, where that category is just so optimized that these little tiny time saves actually count. And calco's done a bunch of that category, and it pays off in this category as well. You see ball skip. That saves about 5 seconds, 6 seconds? I don't remember exactly. It saves a good amount of time, as Bowser forgets to throw his second bowling ball, and just throws Mecha Koopas instead. And really, if you didn't know anything about ball skip, you wouldn't even notice what went wrong there, because calco did just such a good job at that. As Bowser is about to throw a bowling ball, if you hit him before he actually tips over, then he just skips that animation completely. And we'll be on time when Peach appears, and that was an amazing Bowser fight. Oh, just barely missed the sub 29. 129.01 is very, very good for a marathon run. Like, amazing. Incredible. That run would be a 3rd place on the leaderboard by only 2 seconds, I believe. Only second to Waz and Calco himself. Now, I don't want to say that we have to do a file check, since Calco is so experienced this game. He probably already knows all levels and knows not to skip a level. But we might have to do that, just in case, just for the satisfaction of making sure that we have all the levels beaten and we get that 95 file. I'm not saying that he missed the level, but just for the completeness of the run, I think we're gonna need a file check. Maybe. Maybe if the message gets passed on to Calco, if he'll do one or not. So yeah, that was 95 Exit No Cape by the calco2. You can follow him on his Twitch channel at calco2. And I am Dr. Cool with the commentary. And you can follow my Twitch channel at Dr. Cool P. And yeah, let's see, what is next? I believe we have Kaizo Mario 2 next.
That would be correct.
There we go. Awesome segue into Dode.
Awesome commentary, Dots, and an awesome run, Calco.
Yes, of course. Amazing run.
Sub 130 is always impressive in 5 No Cape.
Yes.
Most people can't even get a sub 140. Sub 130 is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's just amazing on a marathon run. And in fact, most of that time loss comes from the one death in Cheese Bridge, which was easily like 40 seconds or more.
Yeah, and he missed the old world record by 2 seconds, which is crazy.
Yeah, insane. Insane. There's the file check.
Yep, he's got the 95.
Perfect.